Hello Miners and welcome back. Today I'm going to see if I can be a real estate tycoon. I am playing lands. Now, the current meta has actually seen quite an uptick in lands decks recently because they naturally prey on the blue-based tempo decks that are kind of dominating the format at the moment. So I decided to take lands for a run, see how I can do with it. I have a very small history with lands, but when I play it, I tend to do pretty well overall. But this is pretty much a solved deck list for the most part. There's a couple variations on this deck. There's the version that you see here in front of you, which is just a pretty stock lands list at this point, which is mono green in the main deck, a huge 30 lands, and a ton of random silver bullet one-ofs in it. And the main game plan here is you lock your opponent out of the game using your utility lands to deny mana with stuff like Wasteland, overpower them with Urza's Construct tokens, or create a massive 2020 Merit Lage token with the Dark Depths Thespian stage combo, and then just having built-in redundancy with Life from the Loam to continually keep bringing all of these utility lands back, to have an endless stream of Saga tokens, to be able to keep going for the Dark Depths combo over and over and over again if your opponent has a way to deal with it, or just to completely obliterate their mana by just constantly dredging back Wastelands and attacking their mana until they can't play the game. To help support this plan, there's some mana acceleration in the form of Mox Diamond and Exploration. There is some disruption in the form of Pithing Needle and Disruptor Flute to shut down opponents' abilities to be able to do things. And then ways to search for the utility lands in your deck and the permanents that you need with Once Upon a Time, Malevolent Rumble, and Crop Rotation. So it's a pretty sleek, well-tuned deck. A few things just to point out here is you have a one of Otawara to bounce stuff, one of Sajiri's Sept to be able to protect your Merit Lage, one of Karakas to be able to deal with stuff like Show and Tell decks, one of Bajuka Bog main deck to be able to deal with graveyard decks, and then a full playset of Yavamayas because this deck is base green. And while there's not a lot of actual green cards, you've only got 8 actual lands that produce green mana. So being able to turn all of your lands into forest and guarantee you can hit your green mana is absolutely huge in this deck. So it is a full play set of Yavimais in the main deck. The sideboard is a whole suite of various stuff. More Disruptor Flutes and Pithing Needles to be able to shut down problematic permanents from your opponent. Whether it's stuff like a Goblin Charbelcher out of Oops All Spells, or being able to shut down problematic Planeswalkers that can grind you out of the game, a Ghost Quarter to be able to truly mana screw your opponent if they're on a basic heavy deck, just looping Ghost Quarter back from the graveyard every single turn to keep nuking your opponent's basics once they run out of non-basics for your Wastelands. Dismember and Twin Shot Sniper as just removal for small to medium-sized creatures. Fairy Macabres and Endurances to be able to deal with the graveyard decks running around the format right now, such as Oops All Spells, Dimir Reanimator, being able to shut down some of the crazy like Painter line or Welder lines out of the Painter deck. And then Force of Vigors to be able to attack artifact and enchantment based decks, again, such as Painter, Mystic Forge combo stuff. There's been a blue Painter deck running around a lot lately as well. So just able to mop up any of those problematic permanents. Also a great way to be able to get rid of a Blood Moon because a lot of decks are going to be bringing that in against you, thinking that Blood Moon is a hard lock against lands. Well, yes, it does shut down a lot of what your deck is doing. Between the main deck Besejus and then your sideboard Force of Vigors, if your opponent slams a Blood Moon and then you play a Merit Lage or a Dark Depths after the Blood Moon is on the battlefield, it has no counters on it. So as soon as you get rid of the Blood Moon, you get your Merit Lage token. There also is something to note now that because of the rules change with Urza's Saga, the Blood Moon does not get rid of it anymore. It just locks it on whatever chapter it happens to be on. So if your opponent is either not familiar with that or happens to have bad timing, they could actually lock you into an Urza Saga that produces tokens forever because it's never going to go away because it's not going to get any more counters. So that is something to keep in mind. That is a big change from before the rules change when you were playing a lands deck. So just make sure you keep that in mind. We'll see if it pops up at all during the league. But anyways, let's take this deck through a league, see if my huge tracts of land can lead to some wins, and really see if I can become a real estate tycoon through the course of this video. Hope you all enjoy. If you do, please do me a favor, drop a like on this video, sub to the channel. Great free ways to support the content. It's always appreciated, and I will catch you all in the wrap-up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Alright, round one, won the die roll up against Hamster 2. And let's see if I can become a real estate mogul today. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. We'll go ahead and keep this. We'll start out with probably Yavimaya, Exploration, Mox Opal, Pitching, Dark Depths, Urza Saga, Loam back the Dark Depths, and start getting Loamy shit going. Alright, well, let's see how this goes. Yavimaya, Exploration. Everything seems to just be resolving. Chuck the Dark Depths, play the Urza Saga, Loam back the Depths, and I'd say that's a pretty damn good turn one. And then we just start doing Loamy stuff. Alright, Arid Mesa from the opponent. We will dredge the Loam. Hit a Dark Depths, a Boseiju, and a Bajuka Bog. Okay. So what do we got? We got 2 lands here. I can play Dark Depths, Loam back all 3, and then we can either play Dark Depths again, hold up Boseiju. I don't know what our opponent could be doing over there with an Arid Mesa. I'm mildly concerned. Or we could play... I think we're going to play the Dark Depths, hold up Boseiju as an oh shit button if we need it. Like, we have 2 Dark Depths. It's kind of irrelevant which one we keep. So we're going to do this. Pass the turn. If they don't do anything, we will make an Urza Saga token. Cracking their Arid Mesa. Like, that seems like a really weird line. I knew a basic planes, okay, but like I said, I want to hold up Boseiju just in case they have some kind of enchantment I need to kill. But we got a basic planes from the opponent, so I'm assuming that means they're going to have exile-based removal. So we might be better off just trying to overwhelm them with the Urza Sagas. Plateau from the opponent. Okay, so it looks like this is an energy deck, which is mostly fine. We will make a dude. Depending on what we draw... do I want to loam or do I want to draw here? Because loaming gets me 3 looks at a Thespian stage, or I can go get a Thespian stage off of this, but I don't have the mana to be able to activate it. So yes, I think we want to dredge again. Dredge life from the loam. Ooh, Caracas is very good. We will make a duder. We will go... Do I want the booties? I could just Mox Diamond here to ramp mana even further, because Caracas is going to be able to deal with this thing. I could grab the boots, I could grab an expedition map, I could grab Pithing Needle just in the backside of a Johnny and not care about it. I think we're actually just going to go ahead and grab a Mox Diamond here, pitch the Bajuka Bog, and then we will loam back Caracas, Dark Depths, Urza Saga, play Caracas, play Urza Saga, and we will just go ahead and do this now to get it out of the way to push damage through. They won't have enough mana to be able to play out a Johnny again and, like, Goblin Bombardment a token away. And if they need to bolt their own token to kill it to flip a Johnny, I'm actually super okay with that. Alright. Sand Scout. Okay, so they're playing the version with, that I just saw Thraben U playing. Okay. So this is Phil's deck. They get to go grab a thing. This is going to allow them to start making dudes, but we're going to be able to overpower that really easily. So I'm not particularly concerned about that at the moment. And I think we're just going to keep dredging here. We hit a Thespian stage and a Wasteland, so we can Wasteland away this Lazotep Quarry, which is going to be nice. We get back Wasteland, Bog, Thespian stage. We will play Wasteland and stage. We will blow this up before they can sack their Sandstone Scout. They get a Duder, but we're going to go ahead and swing. And then we have a Merit Lage next turn, and we can pump these if we need to. They're just going to take the damage. Okay, that's fine. Creating another dude here doesn't change the clock at all. And then, yeah, we will just go ahead and make a hasty Merit Lage next turn. And they're getting an Elegant Parlor off there, so that's fine. And we're holding Caracas up to be able to kill a Johnny. Seeing as we have the combo, I think we're going to just take a natural draw next turn. They put whatever it was on top. Okay. And they scoop it up anyways. Okay, so I'm assuming that means they didn't have any kind of removal to deal with this Merit Lage that was inbound. And I gotta read this thing again. Whenever one or more lands are put into the graveyard from anywhere. Okay, so the reason it didn't trigger on the fetch land is because it only happens once per turn. Okay, got it. Good to know. So, knowing what our opponent's on here, I think we want to bring in Dismembers and Twin Shot Sniper. There's something to be said about bringing in more of these effects. And they're probably going to have Static Prison and Goblin Bombardment, so there's something to be said about possibly bringing in Force of Vigors as well. But that's a lot of stuff to take in. What do we want to get rid of here? I think 3 effects is good enough to be able to deal with their stuff here. I don't think we need Grafdigger's Cage. We can take that out pretty easily. Honestly, with all this removal, it might be worth it to take out one of the needle effects. Because, like, our plan is to kill a Johnny before it can flip. And then we can bring in Force of Vigors to deal with a Goblin Bombardment. But they can sack their whole board out in response. So maybe the Force of Vigors aren't as good here. I think we're going to trim Once Upon a Time. I think we might just trim 2 Once Upon a Times. Like, I know why you want 4 of them in your deck, but you're realistically only casting the first one. After that, like, I mean, this deck does have enough mana that you can do that. We could take some stuff out of here, but I think I want everything land-wise here. I guess we could remove Bojuka Bog. It doesn't really do anything in this matchup. And then just go down to 29 lands. We could bring Ghost Quarter in if we want to really try to, like, put the screws in. But maybe we do this, and we'll bring 1 Once Upon a Time back in, and then we'll bring the Force of Vigors in game 3 if we get that far, and we absolutely need to. But I think we're going to try something like this for now. Okay, what do we have here? I like the Karakas. I like the Maze of Ith. We have no green mana. We're relying on getting it off of Once Upon a Time or off of a draw. I think we can do better. I've been burned by not keeping green mana before. Okay, we can keep this. We will put one of the Dark Depths back. Lead off on probably Yavimaya into Urza's Saga, pitch Dark Depths to Chromox. And then we can figure out what we want to do with this Pithing Needle later. They look like they have a much more aggro start, though. Malevolent Rumble. So the question is going to be, do we want to try to flood the board? We could also use Crop Rot to go get Tabernacle. We have Pithing Needle already, so maybe it's worth chucking this Urza Saga under this Chromox. Either way, we're starting out with the Yavimaya. I think we are going to go ahead and Mox Diamond here. It's just a matter of which one of these do we want to get rid of. I think we're going to get rid of the Urza Saga. And we are going to Malevolent Rumble and see what we hit. We just hit a Tabernacle. Okay, so we don't even need to Crop Rot for it now. So we can actually use the Crop Rot to go ahead and grab a Thespian Stage. And we've been to Life from the Loam too, which is amazing. Also, did not realize I started out with a Karakas here, so we are going to have to blow that up before we go for Merit Lage. Lazotep Quarry, okay. Getting in with the Guide of Souls, that's fine. No follow-up creatures, so I'm guessing they have a bunch of removal, maybe? But we hit the Life from the Loam, so I don't really care about removal, because I can just switch on to Urza Saga Beats. And we are going to go ahead and dredge Life from the Loam here. Okay, they did not have a whatchamacallit. Alright, I would very... What are they doing? Oh, they're going to Disruptor Flute? Okay. Are they going to name Urza Saga so that I can't do anything with it? I mean, I can get this Boseiju back and kill it. Naming Life from the Loam. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I could also shut down Lazotep Quarry if I really wanted to. We're going to go ahead and do that. Then I think we're going to go ahead Tabernacle. What do I want to name here? I think I'm going to name the backside. Do I want to name the backside of a Johnny or do I want to name Goblin Bombardment? I think I want to name the backside of a Johnny. Alright, it's Nikadal Avenger is the backside. Okay, that was a little strange. Alright, with that being said, I can't really do anything else right now, so we'll just pass. Next turn, I could cast Life from the Loam. Alright, sorry about that. It was doing some weird glitching stuff when I was looking up what the backside of a Johnny was, but it's Nikadal Avenger, so I got that. Opponent is paying... They've got a way to kill my Tabernacle. Another Guide of Souls. Okay, well, I can get the Tabernacle back. Like, I just need to get some mana up. Or I could just try to go for the fast, whatchamacallit? I could also actually just crop rotate this away. I don't know. There are lines that I can do that allow me to be able to copy this tabernacle. But they're just gonna go to my turn without doing anything. That's fine. I'm not gonna bother. I mean, I'll pop it. Like, there's no point. See if they. I just want to pop it. I don't want to pay for it. I want to sacrifice. No, I don't want to pay. Okay, that was fucking weird. Another crop rotation. Okay. So I could, because it costs 3 more. We're gonna go ahead and play this, and then when they try to kill something with the wasteland, we will crop rot it away to go grab something else. So now they're gonna kind of be stuck between what do they want to kill? Do they want to kill? Okay, they want to kill the tabernacle apparently. I actually could crop rot this away, but then I'll lose 2 lands in the process. Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of it. That's fine. Question is what do we want here? We could start wastelanding them. I might just grab Thespian Stage and threaten the kill here. So we'll grab Thespian Stage, see what they do. We're going to threaten the kill. They're going to have to start holding up this Caracas. Alright, they're just getting in. They have a relatively slow clock. They're low on lands. We could actually start trying to kill their stuff here. Because we do have another crop rotation, but I'd rather wait until I can get this Life from the Loam going. Even if it does ultimately tap me out. Alright, they're just passing. I'm super okay with that. Another crop rotation. Okay. There's no way to go up mana doing this. So I guess we're just going to pass. Luckily, they don't have a fast clock at the moment, but they could pop off at pretty much any moment. We could also crop rot away something to go get... Actually, that might be a plan. It's super high risk if they have a removal spell, but they'd have to sacrifice a creature to get colored mana if I do this. So what I'm thinking here is they get in, we crop rot away to go get a wasteland, blow up the Caracas, make Dark Depths, and then hope that they don't have a Path to Exile or a Swords to Plowshares. I think we might do that. I don't know what else they have here. So we're going to tap this. Crop rotation away the Yavimaya. Grab a wasteland. Blow up the Caracas. This very well may lose us the game if they do have the removal spell. But we are going to try to win the game here. If we gotta go to a game 3, we gotta go to a game 3. It also gives us 20 life. We hit another life from the Loam. Okay. I was really hoping for a land to be able to go grab a Sajiri step if we needed it. This also does put them to 1, so they have 1 turn to find a way out of this. Do they find the removal spell? They do not! Okay, that was a calculated risk, and it actually paid off. Alright, on the board, on to the next one. Alright, round 2, won the die roll again, let's go. No green mana, so we cannot keep this, so we're gonna ship it. Yet again, no green mana. Well, no, we got Beseiju, my bad. We could also start trying to work toward Urza's Saga stuff here. So I think we're going to keep this, and we will put 1 Malevolent Rumble to the bottom. And do that. The question is do I want to start out on my green mana and risk it getting destroyed? I don't think so. I think we're going to start off on the Thespian stage, play the boots. We're going to start a little bit slow on Urza's Saga, but because we only have the 1 green land here, I don't want to risk it getting wastelanded and then us not being able to do anything. Ooh, they care enough to force a will. They're pitching a Daze. Okay. I will take Lava Spur Boots being a hint to Torok. I am A-okay with that. So that means they're probably on tempo. Yeah. With Thundering Falls, they're definitely on tempo of some sort. Whether it's the Corey Seal Cutter version or not. Actually, pretty urgent, they might be on Show and Tell. Another Urza's Saga. Okay. So we'll play Beseiju, play Malevolent Rumble, see if this is good enough for another counter, and then we'll just start trying to chain sagas and hoping to survive long enough. Oh, okay, they're going to daze the Malevolent Rumble. Okay, I guess we're going to start doing Urza's Saga stuff then. Sets them back a land, so they can't just Show and Tell right off of the bat. Replaying the Thundering Falls, okay. Kept whatever it was on top this time, okay. And we hit a Dark Depths. Well, we're going to play Urza's Saga. And then we were going to play Dark Depths, and we were going to threaten killing them with a 2020. Misty Rainforest, okay. So they don't have Show and Tell mana yet. They could theoretically have a... Okay, Brainstorm. I was going to say, they could theoretically have a Lotus Petal. That said, I'm not 100% sure if this actually is Show and Tell or not. This very well still could be some sort of Delvery style deck. Alright, an opponent's passing. They have no follow-up, it appears. Alright, into a crop rotation. Okay. That could do stuff if this is Sneak and Show. But we're going to go ahead and just play Dark Depths and threaten killing them with a 2020. It does make me give up a Urza Saga Construct token, but we'll see. If there's some kind of... Okay. If there's some kind of Delvery style build, they theoretically could have like a Brazen Borrower to bounce the Dark Depths. Because I don't have protection yet, I think I'm going to go ahead and just make a Construct token. Because I want to wait until I have the ability to protect the Dark Depths from a Brazen Borrower. So we're just going to make a dude for now. Okay. We will draw. See what we draw. We draw Yavimaya. Does this give us enough mana to do everything? Tap here, go get the boots, play Yavimaya. That gives me enough mana to be able to grab the boots, copy this, and give the boots to this? Yes. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to float some mana, go grab... Oh, right, they dazed our boots already. Oops. I forgot about that. I think we'll just go ahead and grab Pithing Needle and name Misty Rainforest and treat it as a land destruction spell for right now. I forgot the boots was already gone. And in that case, then, I guess we will just play another Urza Saga. And now we will try to go for the thing, because we can go ahead and keep making Construct tokens after making Dark Depths and losing 2 lands. I completely forgot that they Force of Will our turn 1 Lava Spur Boots. That is 100% on me. Okay, so a little bit of a misplay there, but hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. Alright, an opponent apparently doesn't have any follow-up lands. We could... So, since they don't have any follow-up, I think we are going to do the thing here. Because, like I said, we are able to still make Construct tokens, even if they had the Brazen Borrower for this. Because we'll be able to play Yavimaya. Or we can play Urza Saga. Alright, so they do have the Brazen Borrower. Yep, that's fine. Like I said, this doesn't lose us a Saga token in the process, so I'm not super concerned about that. There's another crop rotation. Play a Saga. And then we get in. I thought about playing Yavimaya, but I don't want to give them this mana back if that's what they're waiting on, is they actually do need the 3rd mana and they have a Show and Tell. Alright, opponent is preordaining. There are lines where I could try to crop route away something to go grab a Wasteland. They double topped. Okay, they have a Wasteland. What are they going to do? Are they going to go after the bigger one or the smaller one? They're going after the smaller one. Okay. And then we will make a dude. I could have tried to crop route that away, but that was a mistake on my part. Is this a Lightning Bolt? Unholy Heat. Okay, so it is actually just Delver. Alright. I was playing around Show and Tell when I didn't actually need to be. A Disruptor Flutes. That doesn't particularly matter, but we will float some mana. Go grab our Expedition map. I want to get in first so I can start getting another Urza Saga ticking up. Or I want to get in so I get more damage in. But then I lose the mana from this, so we're just going to go ahead and do this now. Go grab another Urza Saga. Grab our last Urza Saga. Play Urza Saga. And get in for another 2. Hope they don't find another Wasteland before we can get this Yavimaya down. Yeah, I don't know. I am, like, not formulating thoughts properly at all today, so I'm sorry if this sounds like a lot of rambling. Okay, so it is a Corey Seal Cutter version of the deck. Okay. And they're going to be able to make a token. That's fine. I'm not super concerned about that at the moment. Yep, you get to see what I'm drawing. So luckily, lands typically choose these Tempo-y decks up pretty well. They might be holding back with this to try to chump block. I don't know. Okay, they are. Maze of Ith. Okay. That's fine. We will play Yavimaya. And we'll get in. If they want to block here, we'll just make a dude and do our thing. Nope, no blocks. Okay. We also could flash in Disruptor Flute to make this bigger. We're probably just going to make a duder. Blue mana from the opponent. Is this a Murktide Regent? If it is, that's mostly fine because we have Mazavith to keep taking it out of combat. And we can just start going wide of it. Yeah, Murktide Regent, that's fine. We also still have Otawara in the deck to be able to bounce that. And opponent is not getting in. Okay, that's fine. We will make a Deuter. I would not mind a Life from the Loam here soon. And a Wasteland. Okay. Well, we'll make a dude. And then, do we want Grafdigger's Cage? I don't think it really matters. I don't want to get rid of either of my lands. I mean, like, getting rid of Wasteland probably isn't the worst thing in the world here. But I don't think we necessarily need to do that. I think we'll just go ahead and grab a Grafdigger's Cage here. Play a Mazavith. And then we can start pushing damage. Because we can take the Murktide out of combat. Like, it's going to take 3 hits for it to be able to kill us. Are they going to chump block with the token is the question. Yes. Okay. We will take this out of combat. Kill the token. Pass the turn. And we're basically just going to try to go wide of what our opponent's doing here. We also could try to chain together some stuff to be able to take out their lands. Okay, another Quarry Steelcutter. So they're going to start trying to go wide as hell. So Tabernacle wouldn't be bad. It's just going to be a question of do they have a, whatchamacallit here, Force of Will to be able to punish trying to crop rot. Because we can eventually try to mana screw them to the point where they can't pay for anything and they lose their board. Decline to shuffle. Okay. This one might be slipping away from us trying to go a little too fast with the Dark Depths combo, but we'll see. Raucous. Okay. So we can try getting in with all of these, push some damage through. I think that's where we're going to start. Start attacking with everything. Get rid of 2 of their blockers. Okay, this seems incorrect. Do they have a Force of Will is the question. Because if we disrupt their Flute, they're just dead. Do I want to risk them I mean, I guess no matter what we do, like, we lose to a counterspell. So I think we're just going to try to go for it. Like, that still kills them as well because it puts them to 10. So Force of Will drops them to 10 and then they still die. Okay. I mean, this ended up going much better than I thought. Like, there were punts all around. And I had some issues formulating my thoughts, but that ended up working out just fine. So we took game 1 up against Delver. So, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, let's tighten this shit up now. We are going to bring in Force of Vigors for sure. I'm not sure Grafdigger's Cage is super relevant here. Their Murktide is what they do to be able to use their graveyard. We could also bring in Endurances as extra bodies and blockers. Wasteland is the only thing they have that super matters as far as activated abilities. Like, they could move around a Quarry Steelcutter, but I don't know if we need all of these flute effects. We could also get rid of Pithing Needle and just keep the flutes in to try to make spells cost more. So, like, maybe take out Pithing Needle. We have Recursion, so I'm not super concerned about Wastelands anyways. So we could just keep the flutes in. I'm tempted to take out crop rotations because they're extremely iffy up against counterspell decks. So I might take out 2 crop rots and take out 1 Once Upon a Time. Leave the flutes in mostly just to make things cost more, like make it so that they actually have to pay mana to pitch cast a force. And then Endurance to try to clear out the graveyard before a Murktide comes down, or to create a blocker, and Force of Vigor to be able to take out the Quarry Steelcutters. Force of Vigor also will help take care of, like, Blood Moon effects, which they may or may not have. I'm not sure if the tempo decks are on Blood Moon anymore. But let's try something like that. Alright, what do we have here? I technically have green mana. And do I trust Wasteland plus Once Upon a Time plus my draw? Because if this Mox Opal this Mox Diamond gets countered, I have no green mana. I think we're going to keep it. We're up a game. I can play a little riskier. I probably shouldn't, but we're going to. Scalding Tarn from the opponent. Cracks it right away. Into a Volcanic. Into Dragon Rage Channeler? Yes. Into a Dragon Rage Channeler. And instantly into a Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Binning and Unholy Heat. Okay. 3 card types in the graveyard. I do have this Endurance that I can pitch cast if I absolutely need to. And they're seeing what we were drawing. They get their draw. What did we draw? We drew an Urza's Saga. Let's start out with Once Upon a Time. See if we can hit some actual sticky green mana. We hit Karakas and Bajuka Bog. I guess we're going to take the Bog. We could Wasteland so that they can't daze us. We could also just try to start recurring some stuff here. I think we're going to Wasteland. Take out their Volcanic Island so that they can't daze us. Play a Mox Diamond. Pitch the Bajuka Bog. And then pass a turn. And our plan is to loam back some lands next turn. They could have a Surgical Extraction. The pause made me think they might. They have blue mana. Into a Preordain. Are they going to be able to turn on their DRC is the question. Because if this Life from the Loam resolves next turn, then we can get back... They kept something on top. We can get back the Bog to clear out the graveyard and shrink the DRC again. Double top on that. Okay. And DRC is turned on at the moment. Daze is a live card here. Into a Thespian stage. We are going to Saga. We could Malevolent Rumble here, but I think... Do I want to wait a turn first? I think I do. I think I am going to Malevolent Rumble. Fill up the graveyard a little bit more. I can't play the Bajuka Bog to nuke this turn anyways. And I might just upkeep Endurance. Okay, so they're going to do this. They're dazing now. Kept 1 card on top. Can't pay for the daze. That's mostly fine. And then we are going to go ahead and upkeep Endurance just to clear the graveyard so they can't get a Murktide Regent down and to shrink this Dragon Rage Channeler. And we are going to do it pitching the crop rotation. Is this worth the Force of Will to them? No, it is not. Clear your graveyard out. Replaying the island. Getting it for 1. Okay. So we can Life from the Loam around a daze now. And we hit a Yavimaya. Okay. I like that. We will play Thespian stage. We will attempt to get some lands back here. And see if we can start getting some Loam shenanigans going. They might be saving a Surgical Extraction for the Loam itself. Alright, they did not counter that. We will pass a turn. And we can start doing some Loam shenanigans starting next turn. I've been doing a pretty good job of keeping my opponent low on mana here. I do have a Wasteland to be able to take out another one of their or another one of their non-basics. But either they are a second main phase hipster, or we've officially run them out of lands. Alright, it looks like we may have run them out of lands finally. They're letting us get to draw, so they don't have a Surgical Extraction. Let's make a Duder, because I'm going to be able to do some stuff here. Make a dude. Go grab a Mox Diamond. Are they going to Surgical my Urza Sagas? Not yet, no. Grab Mox Diamond. Chuck Bajuka Bog. Play a Yavimaya. Get back Mazavith, Saga, and Bog. It's a little risky keeping 1 Urza Saga in the bin here, but I want Bog to be able to clear out the graveyard. And that just resolved, so we're good there. And then we will ship the turn. And we will play an Urza Saga next turn and start doing more stuff. We honestly might just go ahead and take a natural draw next turn. Because I'd love to hit a Exploration. Like, we've got a pretty stocked hand as far as lands are concerned here. I don't think we are going to win on the back of a... whatchamacallit here. Okay, Meltdown. Annoying, but not the end of the world. I was going to say, I don't think we're winning off the back of a Merit Lage. Maybe we are. I don't know. Meltdown is annoying, but not the end of the world. They've been to daze. So with that happening, I think we are just going to take a natural draw here. Like, we'll take 1, then we'll play Urza Saga, take a natural draw. We could also just blow up their Volcanic Island. Oh, or we just have a Dark Depths. I suppose that's something that we could do too. I mean, let's put them to the test. If they tap down any mana whatsoever, then I just go for it. Still getting it with the Dragon Rage Channeler, okay. I mean, we are at 13, but their Dragon Rage Channeler is still just a 1-1. And I think what we're going to do is just... Not going to dredge yet. Another Urza Saga. We'll play Wasteland. Pass the turn. In their second main phase, we will blow up the Volcanic Island. Okay, they're just trying to go aggro here. Got it. Put a Brainstorm in the yard. Still only two card types in the graveyard. And like I said, second main phase, we will blow... Okay, so they have more mana still. That's a little annoying, but not the end of the world. So we're going to play it a little slow here. We will take out their volcanic island. Yep, get him for your 1, that's fine. With 5 cards in hand and 2 mana still up, I am not going to go for it. We are going to go ahead and blow up the volcanic island, though. And then next turn, we're probably just going to play Maze of Ith so that we can shut this down. Or we can play Bajuka Bog, keep it small, then play Maze of Ith the following turn, unless we hit an exploration. We will take a natural draw, hit a Force of Vigor. I think we're just going to play Bajuka Bog, nuke your graveyard, keep this Dragon Ray Channeler nice and small, and keep you off of a Murktide Regent. And now we're back to the point where if they ever tap both of their mana, or they tap below 2 mana, I just go for it. Opponent is still fighting the good fight. Getting in, passing the turn, still going to take natural draws, hit another life from the Loam. We will play a Maze of Ith to shut this Dragon Ray Channeler down. And then I'll just pivot back onto Urza Saga Beatdown after this. Unless, like I said, they tap down to the point where they don't have a Brazen Borrower up. Been to Force Negation, that's fine. We also have another life from the Loam, so we don't need to dredge the one that's in the graveyard. Alright, is opponent shuffling this Brainstorm? No, but they got a second mana again. Alright, they're just making me do this, that's fine. That's totally fine. Like I said, we either wait until we have a way to protect this Merit Lage, or we'll just start slamming Sagas and going Saga Beatdowns, and try to overwhelm them with unlimited Saga tokens. Natural draw, into a Wasteland. Well, we'll play a Saga, pass the turn, and we have enough mana that we can just run out the other Saga too to keep it out of our hand if they happen to have a Surgical Extraction. Cracking their Scalding Tarn, okay. Into a Thundering Falls. That is totally fine. Kept whatever was on top. That's fine. Another land. Okay. So they're just building up their mana over there. I could start playing Wastelands, trying to take some stuff out, but I'm not super concerned about that. Corey Steelcutter. That's fine. We have an answer for that. And, like, we don't need the second life from the Loam, so I'm pretty comfortable pitch casting it. And whatever their next spell is, or if they don't cast a spell at all, we'll just go ahead and kill the Corey Steelcutter. We will Maze of Ith this. Protect our life total. And then in end step, we will Force of Vigor, killing the Steelcutter. Ooh, we got a Force of Will out of that. Okay. Unfortunately, they still aren't tapped down, but they got rid of a Murktide Regent, so that's very good. That is mostly fine. We will be able to go wider than they can, because they can only create 1 token per turn. We will not dredge. We hit up a Seiju. That can actually just blow up the Corey Steelcutter. We will play another Urza Saga. And then I guess we will pass the turn. And whenever they put their first spell on the stack, I think that's when we blow up the Steelcutter. They're cracking a land now. Okay. Grabbing a Volcanic, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, whenever they put their first spell on the stack, we will go ahead and blow up the Steelcutter. And then we're just going to try to overwhelm them. If they have another meltdown that's annoying, but not the end of the world, Ponder. Okay. We will let them surveil first, because we don't want to inform their decision. Put a card on top of their library. Okay, we are going to go ahead and blow up the Steelcutter. You can have another land. You're going to need a Brainstorm or something to get a token off of this. Or I guess a Lightning Bolt or something, maybe? Okay. Lightning Bolt makes a dude. Are they going to be able to turn Delirium on is the question. Nope, put a card back on top. Moving that over. Do they need one more spell? Dragon's Ray Channeler is on. We very well could die here. We are in a precarious situation. If they find a Lightning Bolt, we're dead. Decline to draw, so did they, or decline to shuffle, so did they find a Ponder or a Lightning Bolt? No, they're trying to get there with Prowess and more triggers? Either that or they just had another cantrip and they're trying to dig deeper for a Lightning Bolt. Put one card back on top, so it's either another cantrip or it is the Lightning Bolt. Decline to shuffle again. Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Again, if they tap down enough, then we are actually able to make our Dark Depths, go grab the boots off of the Urza Saga, and swing in. Alright, they decided that was enough. They're going to get in. This might be a case of we need to just go for it right now. So I think what we're gonna do is copy this, use this as a blocker against the Dragon Rage Channeler, and if they have the whatchamacallit, Brazen Borrower, it gets it out of their hand, and then we can start dredging to try to build back up. And it looks like they do have the Brazen Borrower, but it gets it out of their hand, allows us to start building back up again to be able to make it again. Yep, that's fine. Merilage dies, unfortunately. Like, I think I had to try to go for it here. Go to blocks. Remove this from combat. Go to 2. They have 1 card left in hand. I can make 2 blockers, and I need a way to deal with this Dragon Rage Channeler so that it doesn't kill me next turn. If I dredge, I can wasteland my own Bajuka Bog, get it back, blow their graveyard. But then I think I'm just dead to the monks. So I think I do need to just take a natural draw here. Into another Thespian stage. Trying to think if there's something I can do here to get enough mana. Because I could go grab the whatchamacallit, but I'm still dead on the ground. Alright, I think we can make another Merit Lage. But if they have, like, any spell to cast, I'm just dead. Alright, that goes up. We will make some mana. Go grab our expedition map. No, this doesn't work. Yeah, okay, they got this one. I was gonna go grab Dark Depths again and do the thing, but we don't have enough mana and enough land drops to be able to do it. So we'll go to a game 3. That said, do I want to really change anything here? I don't think so. I think we just want to run it back. So yeah, with that one, I was trying to see if there was a way that I could go use the expedition map to go grab the Dark Depths, but I didn't have an exploration, so I couldn't play Dark Depths and the Thespian stage to be able to create a blocker and then take something out of combat with Mazavith. So I was trying to see if there was some way to get to that kind of line, but there just wasn't. So that's honestly what was going on in my mind there, if I didn't explain that very well. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. We can do Saga-y things, and we have a Mazavith. A Wasteland on our on our green source really fucking hurts, though. I think we're gonna keep, though. Opponent does have just over 6 minutes, though. Like, that definitely is enough time to be able to win a game with Delver, but we'll see what happens here. Because I think we're gonna lead off on Wasteland, so if it gets wasted, we don't really care that much. Alright. Opponent kept on 6. We're going to start off on a Wasteland. It's the thing we probably care the least about getting Wastelanded if they start off on one as well. And then next turn we will besiege you into a Malevolent Rumble. We also haven't seen Wasteland out of our opponent yet, so their deck might just not have it. But it'd be very weird for them not to have it. But Polluted Delta cracks it. Probably going to go grab a basic. Into a Ponder. That's fine. Did not shuffle. Okay. And we hit another Dark Depths. We will play Besiege you. We will play Malevolent Rumble. I really cannot fucking talk today. Alright, what do I want here? Do I want Disruptor Flute? Yavimaya turns on a lot of our stuff here. Thespian Stage gives us the combo. I think we want Yavimaya. And then depending on what they do here, we'll probably just go slam an Urza Saga, start working our way up that. Quarry Steelcutter, okay. Do they have the bobble to follow this up? Yes. Okay, well, we'll just try to go wider than them, I guess. Like, we'll play Urza Saga, start trying to go wide. A exploration off the top would be great. We'll take 2. That's fine. They are down to 4 cards, back up to 5. And we hit a Lava Spur Booties. Okay. So we will play Urza Saga, play the Booties, and then I think we are going to go ahead and just try to keep them off of mana as much as possible here. Just try to keep them on the back foot. And there's no point in getting in with the spawn. We can leave it back on blocking duty if we need it. Alright, brainstorming, that's fine. I'll say, given the fact that, like, we don't really need to do anything, like, we might just chump block, but we have such a healthy life total at this point, I don't think it's super relevant. We can take a hit for 3. Did opponent just brainstorm lock themselves? Possibly? No. Okay. Do they have another 1-mana spell? By the look of it, yes? Yes. And they're going face, okay. So, we are going to probably play... I want to play Mazavith next turn, but I don't think I can. Can we afford this hit for 5? Okay, they're just trying to go as aggro as possible here, so we are going to block just to preserve our life total. This is a little annoying, but again, not the end of the world. I would love an exploration off of the top. We will block, pad our life total a little bit. I don't want to have to play Mazavith next turn, but I will if I have to. Like I said, an exploration would be the best thing possible. Another Urza Saga. So I think we're just going to play Yavimaya and start chump blocking, as much as that sucks. And then next turn, we'll drop a Mazavith. Okay, there's a Wasteland. That's annoying, but again, not the end of the world. Going after this, well, we'll make our dude. I have another one. Into a Dragon Rage Channeler. Do they have a 1-mana spell to follow this up? Does not look like it. They're going to get in with this Monk token. I am going to decline to block this one. Another Yavimaya. I think I need to play the Mazavith. Equip the booties onto this guy. And we're kind of just playing defense. I don't like it, but it's where we're at. Because I can take 2 things out of combat. There's another land. I'd like them to kind of just flood out here if possible. Another Dragon Rage Channeler. It doesn't look like they have a backup to that one. Gotta get in. We will take it out of combat. So it looks like they might just be flooding out land-wise. Either that or they just have like counter spells in hand. There's a Force of Vigor. I theoretically can cast that, but I'd like to get more constructs on the ground to be able to do stuff here. The question is do they have a Force of Will? I think I'm going to try to survive another turn before I worry about that. Put a card on top. So if I tap out to kill this, those theoretically could still grow big enough to attack through this, and they can still get through with these. Ugh. They might be able to crawl back into this one with just about 2 minutes left on the clock. We'll see what happens, though. Another land. Is this a Murktide Regent? No, it is a Petty Theft. They have 1 card left. If I tap out to kill this, that's 6, 8 mana. I go to 1. And then I basically have nothing going on. Or I can take 1 out of combat. And it's essentially the same. Okay. Okay, they paid for ward. How much damage is this? I take 1 damage out if I do it this way. And I kill that. That's 6. That's 10 damage right there. Or I save 3 instead of 1. Okay. They put 1 card on top of their library. Okay. Then they get in. I have to take 1 of these out of combat. Take 1 of these out of combat. I take 8, go to 2. If they have a lightning bolt, I'm dead. And now I need to find a way to deal with everything that's on the ground. And I don't think I can with 1 land. I take this out. I make a dude, I block. I get 1 out of combat. 1 gets through. I don't have blue mana to be able to bounce anything here. Yeah, they got this one. That was super, super close. Okay, on to the next one. Alright, round 3, lost a die roll. That last one was super close and grindy. Good old magic there. Okay, opponent took a minute to figure out if they actually wanted to play or not. This is a pretty sweet starting hand. Like, I've got a very quick Merit Lage. Or I can do some Urza Saga stuff. I don't really have a lot in terms of, like, early game plays. But I've got a decent amount of interaction. Being on the draw, I think we're going to keep this. Opponent kept on 7 as well. Misty Rainforest cracks it. Into a Volcanic Island. Into a Dragon Rage Channeler. Alright, so we're up against another Delver deck. I think... Do I want to start off on Wasteland and try to restrict their mana? Sure. Let's restart the game a little bit. They have a threat on board, but that's whatever. If I can restrict their mana, it means that a Merit Lage can get in. And it looks like that was the correct option because they are now mana screwed, and that's an Exploration. Exploration is in. We will play an Urza Saga, and we will start doing the Saga thing. They have a Wasteland. They are going to go after Urza Saga. We are going to go ahead and Crop Rot that away. Instantly resolves. And they scoop it up. Okay, that was premature? I don't know. On a sideboarding. Okay, so I don't know what version this is going to be, but we are going to bring in Slick Shot, or Endurances. We might bring in Twin Shot Sniper. This probably is tech for this kind of style of matchup. With that said, I think we're going to take out some number of crop rotations. Probably take out Grafdigger's Cage. Delver decks aren't casting spells from the graveyard. They're just using the graveyard as fuel for Dragon Rage Channeler and Murktide Regent. Twin Shot Sniper might not be bad. If I can get red mana, I can uncounterably deal 2 to something to take out a Monk token if they're on a cutter build, or take out a Dragon Rage Channeler that doesn't have Delirium. Dismember would be good, but I feel like it's a liability here, dealing that much damage to yourself to kill a Dragon Rage Channeler. So we're going to try something a little bit different than how I sideboarded last game, just because I don't know if they're on the cutter build or not. So we're going to try this, and if we go to a game 3, we will adjust accordingly if we see more of their deck. Okay, so if I had land, this would be fantastic. Do I trust drawing a land between my draw step and this Once Upon a Time, and then shit not getting countered? I think the answer is no. Okay, we will keep this, even though it's a little wonky. We actually have legitimate lands. We need green mana, but we get a draw, and we have Once Upon a Time. And now we are getting blessed by the little girl Tattle. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, Tattle. Alright, opponent does a Volcanic Island into a Preordain. So I'm leaning toward this being the cutter build again. We could try to mana screw them again if we want to, depending on what we draw. 2 bottom, into a Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the cutter build again. So, did our opponent learn to not do the 1 land, 1 keep thing? Alright, we drew a Mox Diamond. I like that. That might let us do everything we want to do here. Beseju, Wastelands. We could grab another Wasteland and keep trying to mana screw them, which I honestly don't hate. So let's go ahead. Yeah, we'll grab the Wasteland, play the Wasteland, make it so that they can't daze this Mox Diamond, and things are just resolving, which is great for us, because that means we have Exploration into... Okay, they counter that one. The bad news for the opponent is we have a Life from the Loam, and we can start just completely destroying their lands. They pitched a Murktide Regent to that. Okay. Are they going to grab a basic? No. Into a Meltdown. Okay. We have a lot of lands, but we got to find them still. We're just going to do the thing. Our opponent's deck is much more land-light than ours is, so I think continually attacking their mana isn't a terrible idea. They do hit a Thundering Falls, keep whatever was on top. That's green mana. Let's play Urza Saga. We're not getting tokens off of it anyways. And then we'll play Yavimaya and try to dredge back some stuff and keep attacking their mana. Preordain. They are to the point where if they hit another blue source, they could, ooh, double top. That's scary. They could get down a Murktide Regent now, which would be annoying, but we have answers. A Dark Depths. Okay. Well, we will play Yavimaya. We will try to loam back everything from the yard. They could counter this. If it's a daze, depending on what they do, it could set them back from being able to Murktide Regent. If it's a Force of Will, they're down 2 cards, and they're only got 1 left in hand. They could also have a Surgical, and they're debating what they want to take out of our graveyard. Well, they paid life like they have a Force of Will. Do they not have the blue card to go with it? It looks like they do not, or they care about their blue card enough to not want to lose it. A Volcanic. I've already played my land for turn. Pass a turn. Okay, they're surgicaling the Life from the Loam. Okay. Behold my hand, opponent. So they decided it was worth loaming instead. They are just going to be staring down a Merit Lage here in a minute. And is this a Murktide Regent to follow it up is the question. Yes, it is. Okay. So we've got to work our way around this Murktide Regent. Another Dark Depths. We will make some mana. What do we want here? We could Mox Opal so that we can play this Endurance around days. We can Expo Map to go grab another Urza Saga. We could grab Lava Spur Boost to try to get a quick Murktide in. What do we want to do here? I think we want to go up on mana for right now. We can chuck a redundant Dark Depths. That's fine. I can clear out the graveyard so they can't get another one of these. And I have a blocker. I think we're going to play Dark Depths and then just flash in Endurance. If they Force of Will this, it means that they're at the mercy of the top of the deck to be able to find a removal spell for Merit Lage. That's Force Pitching Force. Okay, they are going to be at the mercy of the top of their deck to find an answer to Merit Lage. And that's another Endurance. Alright, well, we will just play this and hope that they didn't find a Brazen Borrower, basically. If they don't attack, they definitely don't have it. Alright, so they definitely do not have it. So, I mean, we just go for it. And if they baited us into this, then good on them. Well, we're going to go after their mana. And the opponent scoops it up. Okay. Indestructible 2020 is better than Big Ass Dragon, apparently. Alright. On to the next one. Alright, round 4. Won the die roll. Let's go. Managed to redeem ourselves against Delver last game. We are going to go ahead and keep this. I like the exploration. We have some ramp going on here. We will keep this. If they Force of Will our Mox Diamond, we're in some trouble. But what we can do is Mox Diamond, pitch Tabernacle, play Karakas, play Urza's Saga, hold up Disruptor Flute, which is what we are going to do. Pitch the Tabby, play Exploration. If they counter this, we have another one for next turn. They did not counter it. Cast Saga, play Karakas, pass the turn, and I can hold up Disruptor Flute for whatever they do. They mulligan to 5. Wasteland. That is annoying. With that being said, we will flash this in and just name Wasteland so that they can't destroy anything else. Force of Will. Are we up against Delver again? Possibly. Force of Will against Daze. Okay. Well, opponent, we had another Urza Saga. Joke's on you. And we are going to keep the second exploration in hand. It doesn't serve any purpose being out on the battlefield at the moment. Okay, Flooded Strand. Into a Volcanic Island, into a Ponder. Okay, so this is definitely Delver again. There was a possibility it was Breakfast, but it's Delver. 3 Delver matches in a row. Small rant here. This is my issue with the format, is just this perpetual dominance of tempo. Like, this is the problem of the format. Not Dimir Reanimator specifically. Dimir Reanimator is a tempo deck that has a Reanimator package in it. The Reanimator package is just the most efficient win con, basically. But the Daze, Force of Will, Wasteland, Shell is really what sets this archetype over the edge. That being said, we just took them out. They scooped it up to that Wasteland. So, I mean, that's still my rant. I still stand by that 100%. Like, tempo is the issue, and it is the blue, Daze, Wasteland, Force of Will, Shell. And the threats are all just whatever the best way to finish the game is, but they are all tempo decks at heart, and that has consistently been the best thing to do in the format ever since the top ban. Despite whatever may win any given week, tempo has perpetually dominated the format. As we're seeing, it's also the most played archetype. Like, I did the math. Before the BNR, tempo shells were over 30% of the meta on their own. And we are now seeing that we're 60% of our matches this league have been up against tempo. But anyways, on to sideboarding. Rant over. We're going to do the same thing we did last time. We are going to bring in the Twin Shot Sniper, bring in the 2 Endurances. We can take out Graft Digger's Cage, and probably take out 2 crop rotations? Or we'll do a split this time. We'll do 1 crop rotation, 1 Once Upon a Time. And we will try that. Opponent saying that was an insane start. Thank you, opponent. I didn't think it was that insane, and I felt very much on the back foot until I hit that Wasteland, but we will keep this. We have a Once Upon a Time. We have ramp. We have stuff to do on turn 1. We will keep this. Flooded Strand from the opponents. And we draw a Wasteland. We will cast Once Upon a Time. See what we can find here. Do I want another Saga? Do I want an Endurance? I think I'm going to take the redundant Saga here. And we will play Forest into Mox Diamond. Chuck the Otawara. And then Malevolent Rumble to start. And then we'll start doing other stuff here. Ooh. We will take the exploration for sure. And then we will pass the turn. And then hope that they don't have Force of Will, because we can play exploration around a Daze. Okay, opponent is playing on basics now to play around this Wasteland, which is fine. Okay, so they are a cutter version. And surgical extraction. Ooh. Alright, that is a hell of a surgical extraction from our opponent here. Well, they're getting two of our Urza Sagas out of our hand. So that does restrict what we were going to do here, unfortunately. So now we have to try to get back into this without Urza Saga. So our only real win con at this point is now going to be our Merit Lage. And we hit another Wasteland. We can play Wasteland, run out Expo map. I'm not even sure what we want to get here now with this expedition map. We probably just want to get Dark Depths. Or we might grab Thespian Stage so that we can turn it into a basic to get around our opponent. Stock up. Okay, so they're a bigger Izzet Cutter style deck. Got it. I think we're still going to go grab, whatchamacallit here, the Thespian Stage. Because I can always copy a basic in response to them trying to Wasteland it. Alright, we're going to take a hit for 3. Unfortunately, our twin shot sniper is in the graveyard to be able to kill this monk. But we're going to go ahead and do this. Go grab a Thespian Stage. Or we could grab a Seiju. Blow up Corey Steel Cutter, but I don't think that's where we want to be. I think we are just going to grab Thespian Stage here. Ooh, okay. Oh, they left one in our graveyard? Oh, well then. Yeah, opponent just noticed that it's in my graveyard as well. That was really weird that they didn't eat the one in the graveyard. Well, we might be back in this a little bit here. Unless they have another surgical. They have another surgical. Okay. Really? They're targeting Odawara. Interesting. Okay. And then I will play the Saga and pass the turn. It's funny they went after the Odawara. That makes me think that they have a Murktide region or something. Alright. Blood Moon. Okay. I mean, Beseiju gets rid of that. So I'm not super concerned about that yet. So we will dredge to try to find Beseiju. Okay, so this is a bigger version than I thought it was. Okay, well, we will get back Yavimaya and Dark Depths. We will play Dark Depths, play Yavimaya, and then we will pass the turn and hope that we manage to find a Beseiju, and that automatically turns our Dark Depths on. Another Corey Steel Cutter. Okay, they might be out aggroing us here. Storm Chaser's Challenge. Okay, it's basically, do I find Beseiju off of this dredge or not, is really all it comes down to here. We will chump block one of these. Save a little bit of life here. Do I find Beseiju? Caracas, 2, 6, 8, yeah. Okay, yeah, opponent had that one. Okay, this is not at all what I was expecting out of the opponent. It is a cutter deck, but it's more big cutter prowess than typical Izzet Cutter. That said, now that I know what we're up against, we are definitely bringing in the Force of Vigors. We can take out the Endurance. I think we can take out Pithing Needle. Like, they've got Wasteland, but I'm more concerned about their other stuff here. Like, Wasteland's kind of the least of my concerns. And let's try that. Alright, let's see if we can get a nice explosive start here. We are relying hard on this Once Upon a Time, but if we hit a land and they don't force, this is great. I think we gotta ship it, though. It's just not reliable enough. Okay, I don't hate this. Let's keep this. Do I want to bin the Bajuka Bog, or do I want to bin the redundant Yavimaya? I think we're gonna bin the redundant Yavimaya here. Play Yavimaya, play Exploration, play an Urza Saga, pass the turn. So opponent says, please stop with the sagas. I'm sorry, opponent, it's what my deck does. Props for our opponent here. Slow Bros or Slow Briz. You're fun. You're good people. Okay, Wasteland up against the Saga. And then I guess I'm just gonna bog and we hope for the best from here. I could also just play Odawara here. I think we're just gonna get the bog down. That way I have 3 mana available next turn if I need it. I don't think I need to flash into Disruptor Flute yet. Alright, basic island from the opponent. Into a Storm Chaser's Talents. Okay. I need to refuel, and I need my opponent to not really have anything. Here's another Saga. I think we are just going to flash in the Disruptor Flute now. Play around a Daze. Try to shut off Wasteland if they don't have Force of Will. I don't know if you're cooked yet, opponent. Opponent is like, chat, I think I'm cooked. I don't know if you're cooked yet. Alright, so Wastelands are shut off, so they shouldn't be able to interact with our Saga here. And then I'm going to start making dudes. Scalding Turn for the opponent. But they do have the ability to go wider than me, faster than me. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. Into another Storm Chaser's Talon. Okay. I mean, luckily their creatures are still small at this point. And they haven't gotten a Corey Seal Cutter down yet. I'll take 2. I still need to get some good draws to be able to keep this momentum going. A Life Orb alone would be great. Dark Depths is interesting. I think we're going to go ahead and play the Dark Depths. And then we basically just have to hope that they don't have a bounce spell for when I try to go off with this. Or that they don't have a counter spell if they slam a Blood Moon and I cast Force of Vigor in response. I also know that I could play Odawara out, but I just haven't yet. I'm kind of holding on to it just as a oh shit button. Okay, so they didn't attack. That's good for us. Let's make a Duder. See what we draw here. We just draw the Thespian stage. So I am going to go ahead and make another Duder. We will go grab the booties. Go... Do I actually want the boots? I'm not going to be attacking... I can't attack with the Odawara at this point anyways. I think I'm going to grab Expedition Map. This allows me to go get replacement lands if I need to. And then we will get in with the Construct. Because I was thinking I could go grab the boots so that I get a little bit of protection on this Dark Depths. But even then, it actually doesn't really protect anything. Because they can just bounce it in response, and I can't do it this turn anyway. So I'm better off just grabbing the Expedition Map so that I can go find another Urza Saga or something if I need it. And then pass the turn. We'll see what they do. We might just go ahead and make this Dark Depths. Like, we might just make the Merit Lage, force the action if they have a bounce spell. Like, based off of what I'm seeing, I would not be surprised if they have a this town. We could also just go grab another Saga and just keep going on the Construct Beatdown route. Now, if they slam a Blood Moon, we do have issues, but they wouldn't be able to play this town and slam Blood Moon at the same time. Into a Meltdown. So this is this town mana, if I think that's what they have. Put a card on top of their library. I think we're going to go ahead and go grab a, whatchamacallit here, a Urza Saga. Go grab a Urza Swaga. Getting in with everything, okay. So this might be because of the fact that I tapped out of being able to make, whatchamacallit here, Merit Lage. But I don't know for sure. There's a Mox Diamond. We are going to play the Saga. Pass the turn. I would like to have protection for this Merit Lage before I go for it, because I don't want to go down 2 lands if I don't have to. They're just getting in, so they're holding up mana. I can take 3 for now. Unless they just have like a flurry of lightning bolts to kill me here. I can also try to kill both of the Storm Chaser's talents to flush out interaction if they don't do anything here. So I think I'm going to. I'm going to try to flush out the interaction by killing both of these. See if I can flush out interaction this way. Yep, they do have it this town. What are they targeting? They're targeting my exploration. That's fine. If I hit boots... So I still get to kill one of them. If I hit the boots here, then I probably just go for it and hope they don't have another one. I will play the exploration back out again. We can make a dude to block, or we can go ahead and... Yeah, we can make a dude to block. Like, we're in a very precarious situation. If they find Lightning Bolt, we're kind of just fucked here. But Storm Chaser's Talon, okay. We might just have to try to make the Merit Lage and hope for the best here. The question is do they have another... whatchamacallit here? They're getting in. I mean, no matter how I do this, I'm within range of Lightning Bolt. Do we think they have another this town is the question. I can always make the Merit Lage next turn. So I think we're going to go ahead and just make a dude here. I mean, we die to this town regardless because they just bounce the token. Because, yeah, if they just bounce the token out of the way, they get enough to get through. They have a Petty Theft. Alright, yep, they got this one. Good game, opponent. Yeah, like, if you can go under land, you can get there. But guess we'll go into the final round and see if we can get a positive record. Let our opponent get in, get their damage in, and kill us. That's 9. We'll be at -2. I will say, I'm at least happy that our opponent had a different build of, like, these Izzet tempo decks, and it wasn't just straight Delver, so thank you, opponent, for having a different style of this deck. But in the end, getting destroyed by Izzet decks again. Alright, final round, won the die roll, playing for that sweet positive record. Let's go. Yeah, I like this, we can keep. If they manage to destroy our Yavimaya and we have no green mana for the rest of the game, that would be very, very unfortunate. Alright, opponent kept on 7 as well. Start with Yavimaya. Play Exploration. Luckily, we have a backup one. I am more concerned about this getting wastelanded than this getting countered. Alright, that resolved. Let's go ahead and play a Wasteland and pass the turn. Oh, we are up against Oops All spells. Do they have the turn 1? Thoughtseize. Okay. Maybe this isn't Oops All spells? It very much seems like Oops All spells. They took the Malevolent Rumble. Petal. Okay. Were they just clearing the way is the question. Dark Ritual. Undercity Informer. Okay. Yeah, they had the protected turn 1. That is unfortunate. We will take a look at their deck. So I know a lot of people are like clamoring for this deck to get banned. I'm not sure I agree with that. Anything interesting in this build? Reanimates, Pact of Negations, Thassa's Oracle, Bogart Trawlers. Okay, nothing particular. As I was saying, I know a lot of people are like clamoring for this deck to get banned. The win rate just isn't there. Yes, it's super annoying to play against, but even with people jamming the hell out of it, trying to make it so that it gets banned because of meta share, like, the win rates still just aren't there. It's considered acceptable win rate wise, and like, I don't want to see the deck get banned out entirely. If they want to nerf it, an argument I heard that I truly agree with is go after Memory's Journey just to knock down the resiliency a bit, but I don't think it needs to get fully banned out of existence. So that's my opinion anyways. That said, what do we want to take out here? Obviously, we're bringing in Endurances and Fairy Macabres. Took out Pithing Needle and Lava Spur Boots. I don't think we're winning. Like, we can needle something. Like, they probably have Goblin Charbelcher as a juke, but we still have the Disruptor Flutes for that anyways. And you could try to name Undercity Informer if they don't have the mana to go off like they just did. So I think the flutes with flash are more relevant here. As far as other stuff to take out, I think Rumble's probably a little slow. Loam is probably a little slow. And then probably Once Upon a Time is a little slow here. So I think we bring in the Endurances and the Fairy Macabres. We still have Disruptor Flutes to shut down Goblin Charbelcher. And then just keep the rest of the deck the same and try that. Alright, let's see if they manage to get another protected turn 1 here. So I've got Crop Rot and Once Upon a Time. I think we're going to keep this. This is a little weak to the Charbelcher, but I'm hoping between Once Upon a Time and Crop Rotation we'll be able to deal with whatever the hell they're doing over there. Granted, if this goes to a game 3 and we're on the draw, it's going to be rough. Let's just put it that way. Alright, opponent kept on 5. I would love to find another layer of graveyard hate with this Once Upon a Time. However, we do not. So I guess we're going to grab a Thespian Stage, play a Yavimaya, and hope for the best. Are they bolting this in? If they do not, we will wasteland the hell out of it. Okay, it's bolted in. Into a Dark Ritual. Into a Cabal Ritual. Into an Undercity Informer. Okay, I guess the question just comes is, do they have a Pact of Negation to go along with this? We will see what they have in their graveyard and go from there. Alright, let's pop this out. See if we can count the packs. They actually might have taken the packs out. They do have Jack-O-Lantern, though. Is there a way that they can get back in this, even if I nuke their whole graveyard? Because they can Jack-O-Lantern, Memory's Journey, but they don't have mana to do anything. They did have Charbelcher Juke. It does look like they probably took out their packs. Unless literally their hand is 2 packs right there. So we're going to put that back. We are about to lose our green mana, which sucks, but it's what we need to do. Like, unless literally they kept only 1 or 2 packs in their deck, and they're both in their hand. Hello again, Tattle. Come here. Okay, that resolved. We are going to grab our Bojuka Bog, and we are going to bog you. I'm not super sure what they can get out of their graveyard to be able to win with 3 cards here. I mean, they can get their Poxwalkers back, and they just scoop it up. Okay. So apparently they decided it wasn't worth it. All right. Going on to a game 3. I mean, we'll throw one more Once Upon a Time back in, take out one more Malevolent Rumble, just so we have another way to possibly dig for some of our graveyard hate. And then we pretty much just have to hope that our opponent just doesn't have it, has to mulligan to Oblivion, doesn't find it. Run it back. Okay. I mean, this is theoretically a turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage, and we have Once Upon a Time to try to hit Graveyard Hate. I don't like it. I also don't like that we don't have green mana, but I don't think we can afford to mulligan further, since if they just don't have a turn 1, we at least have a shot of doing something. Also, I don't know if you can hear the purring, but Tattle has decided to grace me for the last round. We're going to give it a shot. Like, you could try mulliganing for multiple layers of Graveyard Hate, but there's just not a lot. This also gives me 5 looks to find something, and I have green cards to pitch to an Endurance. And opponent went to 5. Hopefully we get a turn. We can slam this Grafdigger's Cage, and we have a shot. They're already bolting something in. Into a Thoughtseize. Okay, so that's probably going to take Grafdigger's Cage. I don't think it's worth popping off this Once Upon a Time yet. Hi, Tattle. What's up, baby? Yep, they took the Grafdigger's Cage. Into a Lion's Eye Diamond. And passing the turn. Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance. Okay, we drew a Yavimaya. That turns on crop rotation. Play Once Upon a Time. Hopefully we can hit a Fairy Macabre or something. We don't, but we hit an Urza's Saga. I guess we will take that. Play Yavimaya. Play Exploration. And play... We can draw both of these next turn. I think we're going to go ahead and just play the Urza Saga here. What's up, baby? So we can play both Dark Depths and Thespian Stage next turn, present the win after that, and we can crop rot away this Urza Saga to go grab a Bojuka Bog if we need to. If they have the Belcher win from here, then they got it. Like, it is what it is. Into a Thoughtseize. 2 cards left. That shouldn't be enough. Yeah, we'll let you take our crop rotation. Like, 2 cards shouldn't be enough to be able to go off with. One of them is a land, tapped. Alright. What is their last card? Okay, I like having Fairy Macabre. That gives us some amount of protection here. Well, we play Dark Depths, we play Stage. And we see if they can get there with the 1 card in their hand plus whatever the top of their deck is. If it's like Ritual Belcher, then we lose. It's as simple as that. Okay, they seem to be passing the turn. I mean, we just go for it. Like, no waiting. Just hardcore. Go. If they randomly have an Edict, that's kind of insane. But we're gonna see if they've got something to be able to stop us here. And they scoop it up. I cannot believe they just did not have it. Alright, positive record is locked. And, yeah, that was a league. That was a wild league. We really got to see everything that this deck can do. We got to both see the explosive starts and a fast Merit Lage, grinding the opponent out of the game with Urza Saga Construct, and just obliterating their mana base and locking them out of the game. I will say, despite the fact that on paper, this deck preys on the fair blue tempo decks, I always felt like I was on the back foot playing against them, seeing as we played 3 Izzet Cutter decks today. And unless the opponent scooped super quick after a very explosive start, even trying to grind them out and grind back into the game, I just kind of always felt like I was on the back foot, because even against those decks, because they're so low to the ground, Tabernacle just didn't feel like it would catch up to them to be able to wipe their creatures out. Granted, it might have just been the games that we played where by the time we could have gotten a Tabernacle and they had gone wide enough, they kind of flooded out and still had enough lands to be able to pay for everything anyways. So I will say, even with having Tabernacle, the deck does feel kind of weak to go wide strategies if they can go fast enough to get under it, or if we can't get a Tabernacle like turn 1 or 2 before they can get their mana under them. But other than that, the deck felt really good. I am not a lands player. I'm sure I made a bunch of misplays. And this deck is so complicated from the sense of there's so many lines you can take. What silver bullet lands do you want? Do you want to dredge? Do you not want to dredge? If you don't already have an exploration, how hard do you want to go trying to find one before you really start getting the dredge engine online? But it was an absolute blast. It felt very powerful. I definitely see why lands is coming back into the meta to prey on the dominance and abundance of tempo that is out there at the moment. I will say, up against like super fast combo, this particular build doesn't have stuff like sphere of resistance, which some of the other builds have. So it feels a little weak to combo. I honestly think we just got lucky up against Oops All spells in that last round. So just kind of keep that in mind. If your local meta is very combo heavy, you might want to do one of the like sphere of resistance builds of this deck and not just the pure lands value build that you see in front of you here. I'm also not 100% sure if you need 6 pithing needle effects. Like, they were great, but a lot of times we're only going to name like one thing. It's nice to have an abundance of them, but the fact that you can tutor out pithing needle, and I don't know if those 3 sideboard slots would be better off with something else. Like in the particular matches we saw today, having something like a pyroclasm would honestly be great. Having sphere of resistances in the sideboard, something like that would have felt really good, but that might just be the matchup bias that we played against Izzet deck so much today, and add in that Boros energy deck, and we were just up against a lot of go wide strategies that some kind of sweeper would have felt really good against. But yeah, the deck was a ton of fun to play. It feels really well constructed. Like I said, I understand why it's making a resurgence in the meta currently. And if you just happen to have tabernacles in paper, or if you're playing online and can rent stuff, like through mana traders up above, the budget constraints aren't as big of a deal. And if you got the cards, it's a ton of fun to play, and it's really well positioned in the meta right now. So I would definitely recommend looking into lands if it's up your alley. But anyways, thank you all for watching today's video. I hope you had as much fun watching as I did playing. I'll catch you all in the next one. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.